All right, so before I get going, if I can just get some thumbs up or maybe in the chat, just to make sure that everyone is hearing me okay and everyone is seeing my screen okay, and that we are good to go. So just a thumbs up in your, there we go, perfect. Thank you, Anke. I have confirmation. Right, let's get going. So quickly on the screen now, we can see the ConnectYard interface. So this is the dashboard. I'm going to show you how to set it up in just a second. I just want to show you what it is exactly so that you have a better idea of when we start setting it up, what it's all about. So what the yards in ConnectYard mean is basically each subject. So you can see all of my yards here. I've got a different couple of subjects that I have. And I can access each of these yards in the same subject. So even though I'm in one subject now, I can access all of my yards and I can see all of the communications. So for instance, I can see here that the lecturer has posted a discussion, and I can see that it went through the discussion forum portal. Okay. And I can see what the message is here, and I can see how many students have viewed it. I can see on what devices they used it. So that means the student viewed on WhatsApp and here on the portal itself. So when you see this icon, this is ConnectYard's icon. So this is their logo. This means that the student came to ConnectYard and viewed the message in the yard itself. Students can also follow messages. So if they want to keep up to date with those messages, they can follow. So think of social media, it's the same kind of gist. And you can view all your replies as well that students reply to you. So one of the great things is they can reply from WhatsApp, straight from WhatsApp. So if they have, one of those mobile packages where WhatsApp is free data, this is great because that means they can reply to your messages without having to log on to an internet connection and going through eThuto. We can see here that a couple of messages, we can see this one has 68 follows. And then you can go and have a look at all the students. If they have an avatar or a picture uploaded as their profile picture, it will show, otherwise it will default to our logo. And you can see all the students who's following that message. And so on. So when we say yard, we're talking about the ConnectYard link, and we talk about the yard and the portal, and you can see the difference by where the message comes from. So when it says portal like so, it means the message was posted in ConnectYard. When it says announcement, the message was linked from an announcement. So this was an announcement that was sent. So I can take you back to that. So that was on the 27th of July. And you can see here's the announcement, 27th of July. I just put in announce. And it came through to the ConnectYard portal and linked it up with all the other communications, but we can see that it came from an announcement because it's located as such. And we can see portal, that means it was sent directly in the yard. And we saw earlier that discussions also come up. All right, so before I get into it, I'm gonna go back and show you how to set it up. I'm just gonna go to another subject now. So the first thing you need to do, of course, is sorry, Ritu is asking if we need to sign in and register. No, Ritu, I'm keeping track of you on the participants of Zoom, so no worries about that. All right, so let's get going. I'm just going to quickly show you one thing first. So the first thing you do is in your subjects, and do this for each of your subjects. Now, how it works is ConnectYard activates automatically when you send an announcement or a message from the portal. However, I want you to just go and activate it manually each time you set it up for each subject, just to be on the safe side, because we had encounters where ConnectYards didn't set up properly, even though lecturers sent announcements. So for safety's sake, let's do it this way. We start off by going to your course management section, expand your course tools, and go to the ConnectYard link. Now, these are all in alphabetical order, so you just go to the C's, ConnectYard. And if this is your first time opening up your ConnectYard, you will be shown a different message, and the message will be, would you like to activate your ConnectYard? And you say activate. And then you'll come to this page where you decide which of the tools on Blackboard you want to go through ConnectYard. So you can decide, I like to have announcements checked always, but if you also use discussions quite often, good to check that box. If you want the students to see when grades have been updated, so in other words, if they have new grades, it won't actually show them the grades, it's only going to give them a little message that says there was a new grade posted in this page for this assignment. Then you can check that as well. But you can decide for yourself. This is absolutely dependent on your practice, whatever you need. I definitely would do the announcements because I feel that is probably the best property of ConnectYard, is the fact that it links up your announcements to WhatsApp. So whenever you have any communications through announcements, it will go straight to the students' phones. But if you use discussions and if you want them to see when a new grade is posted, feel free to check those 2 boxes as well. And then we submit. Now we know the ConnectYard is activated in this page, and go and do that for all of your pages, all of your subjects, just to make sure. Probably if you send out announcements regularly, even if you haven't worked with ConnectYard yet, it has probably updated or activated your ConnectYard by default, but still just a good idea to go and make sure and just decide which of the portals you want to use. Right, now ConnectYard is a tool. It's plugged into eThuto, so we find it under tool links. So go to your add menu item button at the top of your menu. If you don't see this little plus, it's probably because your edit mode is off. See, now I don't see the plus. So go and make sure that your edit mode is on. I do this all the time. I'm like, where's my buttons? And then it's just because my edit mode was off. Then you'll see your little plus there, and we go to tool link. Click on that. Now we can call this whatever you want. I'm going to call it ConnectYard for training today, but you can call this messages, communications, notice board, WhatsApps if you like. It depends on how you use the system. You can call it whatever you want. I'm going to go into my drop down and select ConnectYard from the list. Now, don't be confused by the CT. This is just a link to ConnectYard's website directly. We asked them to remove this, but it seems like they can't. So just ignore that. We want the normal ConnectYard, this one at the top. So not CT, the normal one. Okay, and we can make it available to users straight away. And submit. As with all new menu items, it will appear at the bottom. You can move it by just going to the left of the item until your cursor changes to the 4 arrows. Grab it and drag it to wherever you want it and just release. I'm just going to leave mine here. Right, so now that our yard has been connected, we can go in and set up some of our settings. Just click on that and it's going to open the yard as we saw earlier. I can see that I've got 5 members. Now this is a training page and I've got some of my colleagues enrolled as students today to just help out with, so you can see what it looks like. So you'll probably have a lot more members. And as you can see, I'm not yet on WhatsApp, and this is what it will appear like to you in the beginning. You will automatically be enrolled with your email. Your default CUT email address will already be rolled in, but your WhatsApp you have to go and do yourself. So sorry, the next steps are those. So please make sure that you pay attention here. So to add our cell phone number, so this is so that you also get the notifications. Now, if you do not want to get the notifications, I mean, you can just leave this, but maybe just try it out for a week or so and see if it's very cumbersome or so. But I would try it out, see, so that you're in the middle of it and you also get the messages on your phone. If not, you can also come back and delete it afterwards if you don't want to receive the messages on your phone. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go up to your name and a drop-down menu will appear. And we want to go to the first item, which is notification. And here we can see we have 2 channels. So CUT purchased WhatsApp and email. Those are the 2 channels we purchased. And now we can add our cell phone numbers. So the first thing we want to do is just leave it on South Africa. If it's not there, if it's on one of the other countries, just go and change it to South Africa so that you have the right code. Put in your cell phone number, which is here's mine. And then click save. Now it's going to send a verification number to my cell phone. It just came through. It's 88290. Not star. There we go. Verify. And it will tell you that my phone number has been successfully verified. So from now on, I will receive messages on my phone whenever something goes on in the subject that is related to announcements, discussions, or whatever I chose. So if a new grade is posted, then I will see that too if that was selected. Okay, so that is that step. Email you don't have to worry about. Like I said, it's automatically on your CUT email address. This is another account that I use for training that is not connected to my CUT email address, but you can add additional emails. So if I like, I can go and add my CUT email address or another email address if you want to get the notifications on more than one. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole process because it's going to block me. There we go. it says that another user is already using it. So my main account is using this email address. So that's why it doesn't want me to go with it. But I'm using my Gmail for this extra account, but yours will automatically be defaulted to your CUT email. Now you can decide what kind of notifications you will have. By default, you'll have the first and last one, which is send me messages notifications to my verified additional email addresses, and include the complete message history at the bottom of the email notifications. So in other words, when you open up the email, you'll see all of the replies and extra information. You can uncheck that if that is not what you want. You can send yourself an email copy of the messages you post. So in other words, when you have this unchecked and you post something from the portal, you yourself will not receive the notification, but you can have that changed by checking that box, and then you will get it. Just a quick note while I'm on this, you will never receive your own WhatsApps. And that, unfortunately, because that is the way WhatsApp works. So that's something that the team at ConnectYard can't undo. So it means that if you send a message, whether it's through announcements or portals, don't expect yourself to receive it on WhatsApp. Go and check your emails. You will receive it if you have this box checked, but never on WhatsApp. And that is perfectly fine. That is as designed. It's just because of the way WhatsApp's integration works is they can't make it so that you are CC'd in your own notifications, in the same way that if you send out a WhatsApp, you never receive your own message. Okay, send me a delivery confirmation email when I post messages from email. So you can have that checked as well. So you can check these as you need to and uncheck them. I'm going to check them all and save. And they have been saved. Now, if after a couple of weeks, you realize that maybe the WhatsApp channel is too much for you, you can simply go back to this section, go to the channel and just remove your number. Simple as that. So I would recommend that you all try it out for a week or so. If it gets too much, too many messages, things like that, then you might want to come and remove it. But please make sure that your students go through these steps and upload their numbers, because it's very important that they get your messages. So please make sure that they follow these steps. If they don't know how, or you don't want to maybe risk showing them yourselves, on our YouTube channel, under playlists, under students playlist, we have ConnectYard. There we go. We have a video called Students ConnectYard, and this video shows them quickly how to set up their phone numbers and how to use the app. Okay, so you can send this out to your students. Remember that our channel is CUT e-learning and educational technology. You'll find it under the students playlist, and it's called Students ConnectYard. And that video, let me just quickly, while I'm here, I'll post it in the chats. Then we have it. There we go. There's the link in the chats. You can send those out to your students to make sure that they have, in fact, registered their numbers and that they, just minimize that, and that they will receive your messages. But like I said, for yourself, you might not want to. You can just remove your number if after a while it gets a little bit much. But I would only recommend that if you are a regular eThuto user and you're going to come into your ConnectYard every day and check your messages. Otherwise, it's all for naught. Okay, so that is the notification settings setups. We can have a look at some of these other settings. We can see that both my WhatsApp and my email has been enabled. We can choose to have emails sent once every day, once every hour, once every 2 hours. So if you have a lot of notifications coming up and down through your emails, you might want to condense them and maybe have them sent every 6 hours. So you'll get one email every 6 hours with all the messages of that day. So this is something I would recommend if you have a lot of students or a lot of subjects. Maybe go and have a look at these. By default, it's going to be on receive notifications immediately, which means you'll receive an email every time something happens in your yard. So it might be a good idea to go and have a look and play around with some of these settings. Messages only news posts from an admin or all new posts. So in other words, you want to change this to all new posts because you want to know if your students are applying. If you are using your email, for instance, a lot for your notifications and things, and you don't go into the yard itself on a daily basis, it might be good to change this to all new posts so that when your students post, you get them through your email immediately. And then you can decide where the replies go. Right. And you can just go save and update all yards. Now, when you save and update all yards, it means that you won't have to do this again. So this one I'm showing you now is once off. You only have to do this once. You only have to add your number once. The only thing you have to do everywhere is this first step where I showed you go into the course tools and just activate the yard in that subject. From there on, everything is a once off, and it goes through to all of your yards, all of your subjects. Here you can see some settings on your inbox. You know, default settings, they're both enabled. I'd leave them like this, but you can go and play around with what works best for you. Mentions, mentions are if they use the @. So if somebody posts a message and says @Leannery, then I will get it in my email. So I'm going to check so I also get it in my WhatsApps. So in other words, I'll get a notification that says you have been mentioned in this thread, and then you can open the thread and have a look at what it is. So this is a good idea to make sure that those are checked. Yards, we can set up different yards with different settings in this one. So if I go to this page that I'm on now, I can just select it and I can change some settings that is specific to this subject. So if you have some subjects where you want to change a couple of these, you know, maybe you want emails once daily for this subject, but for the others you want it immediately, then you can come into this section here in the yards and change some settings that is only specific to the yard. Just want to expand new members. And then you can say, if you have new members, how are they going to notify? I'm going to say, I want all my members in this group to get it through WhatsApp. Hopefully all their numbers have been enrolled, and through email, and save. So those are the very basics. These are very dependent on your style, on your practice, on your preferences. But if you missed something, or if you just want to have more clarity, you're welcome to just send me a quick email or a phone call, and I'll explain thoroughly. But most of these are pretty self-explanatory, and you can play around with them for a couple of weeks until you find the combination that best suits you. The other thing we have here is edit profile. Not a lot to do here because most of our things are imported from our eThuto profiles, but you can change your picture. If you want a different picture from the one you use in Blackboard, so you can see that I have, oh wait, let me just get this bar. Okay, I can't see now, but I've got a different avatar on my eThuto than I have here. So you can change otherwise you'll be defaulted to the CUT logo. Time zone, so if you're traveling and you want to change your time zone, all of these things. Now we can't change passwords because they are connected with a 0 to our Microsoft accounts that we use for everything on CUT. So you can't change them. That's why I said in the edit profile, there's not really a lot apart from the image that you can do here because we're all connected. Video tutorials is the third one here. Now this has got video tutorials on all of these items, so you can basically just click on that. Oops. All right, I'll talk to ConnectYard about why their videos have been made unavailable. Normally there are videos here, but obviously now on the day I'm doing training in ConnectYard, something's happened, but I'll get that fixed ASAP. So don't worry about that. There should be videos here showing you some of these stuff, but most of these will cover in today's training anyway. So you won't need to really, or you can just give me a call. Okay, frequently asked questions. That's pretty self-explanatory. You can log out and then revert to old. So those are some of the settings we have here. I'm going to go back home. And on the home page, this is probably where you'll be most of the time. Here you can toggle between your different subjects. So your yards for those subjects. Even if you're not in that subject at that time, you can go to another subject's yard and have a look at the messaging there. So I quite like that. All right, my number has now been activated. So you see now the WhatsApp logo has been colored. Remember when we started out, it was still grayed out. That just meant that I haven't put up my number yet. If I were to go and delete my number, just give it a sec to load, you'll see it's grayed out again. All right, but I want it in because I want to use it for. All right, luckily they are very quick with the OTP, so you receive them almost immediately. So it doesn't take long at all to do this. Okay, let's go back home. Okay, so we're going to play in this yard today for now. This is where I've got some students enrolled, so hopefully we'll see how they are applied. And I'm going to send out a message in 3 different ways. So I'm going to send them out with announcements, discussions, and then in the yard itself. Now, it takes a little bit, so I'm going to do the announcement and the discussion first, and hopefully by the time we are finished with the message in the portal, the others will show up. So let's go to announcements first. I'm just going to create an announcement. I'm not going to send this out to email because I don't need to, because it is going to go through ConnectYard to students' emails. And I'm going to submit. Now, your announcement has no limitations. You can send them out. So you always have, you can add images, you can add PDFs, you can add timestamps, you can add anything. Sorry, I'm having my Bitdefender is not liking my actions today. So send your announcements out as you always would have. In fact, once your ConnectYard has been set up, you don't actually even need to ever go back there. You can just send out announcements. So if you're just using it to connect to students via WhatsApp, you can just keep on sending your announcements and you'll know that they are going through to your students' WhatsApp, and only come back to ConnectYard when you want to see who has viewed them. So I just want to see. Now, one of the things of ConnectYard is, unfortunately, and this is a privacy thing from Facebook, who, as you know, owns WhatsApp, students have to at least every now and again reply Y for yes, saying that they agree to receive the message. So the first couple of times that might be a bit annoying, but you get used to it quite quickly. So every now and again, students and yourself will be prompted to answer Y to a WhatsApp message, and this indicates that your privacy has not been infringed and that you're still happy to receive these posts. Now, here's the trick. If students do not reply Y for a long time, their numbers will be automatically taken off of the yard, which means they will automatically be taken off. They will still remain on via email, but remember, as it's their default CUT email, they might not be checking that as much. So make sure to encourage your students to regularly reply Y so that they stay active, and to regularly check that their numbers are still active on the yard. Okay, so let's go to a discussion. And I'm just going to create a new thread here. I'm just going to save this one, testing discussion, so we know which is which. Again, same as with everything, you can add your files, you can add your images, you can add anything you want to, change your font type, everything works exactly the same way. And there is our post. Now, what's interesting here is if I reply to this post, it will also go through ConnectYard. So I'm going to reply to myself here. And submit, and we'll see that later on. Okay, now let's go back to our yards. Now, as I said, it takes a little while for the announcements and the discussions to sync up. You can see the announcement has come through. There we go, announcement. We're still waiting for the discussion, so it's going to take a couple of seconds more. And I can already see that 4 people have viewed it. So I asked Dr. Badenhorst and Orenile and Wynand to enroll themselves and just read their messages. So we can see that Wynand has read his on email, so as Ore. Yuan has read his on WhatsApp. So I can already see these people have read their messages. I can see that 80% of the members on my page have viewed this message. So this is a quick way of seeing how many students are active. I'm vibrating, so I'm getting, there we go. Somebody has replied. Thank you, Wynand. So I'm getting a message now on WhatsApp asking me that Wynand Fluen has replied. Please answer Y. So I'm putting in the Y. And then I'll get the message via WhatsApp. I'll show it to you now in the yard. Okay. So we can see who's viewed. And this is great for your reports and things like that, and making sure that all your students have seen it. You can see the exact timestamp when they viewed it, and then of course the portal. So you can see that I viewed it through the yard and the others viewed it through email and WhatsApp. I'm going to go back. And I can see that Ori has replied to me. She's posted something direct. And here is my original post, which we just saw. I've got a reply here already. I think that was the one from Wynand. Oh no, this is the one from the discussions where I replied myself. So you have to kind of keep track. Sorry, let me go back and we do this from the start. Let me just keep track of what is what. All right. So the announcement, sorry, here we go. The announcement that I've got has one reply as well. And just give it a second. Oops, don't know what my computer's doing now. Let's go back. ConnectYard, sorry. All right, so I'm going to go back to the announcement that we sent out. Okay, all right. So this is the announcement from 13 August, and I'm just going to check my replies again. Okay, so it's supposed to show the reply here. I'll go and have a look why it doesn't do it at the moment, but we can always check it here. So I'm just going to go to these replies. Just give it a second to load. I tested ConnectYard this morning, but you know how it is. Okay, so just wait a second. Just going to see what my inbox is. I've got something in my inbox here that I can check. Not sure why this is taking so long. All right, I'm going to move on for a bit. I have an idea. Let's open it up in a new window. And that one can keep loading and we can keep going. All right. Now I can see that there is all updated. So the one I sent from announcement, the one I sent from discussion, and a reply from Ore came straight through onto my yard and into my inbox. So I can see all of it. I can see hers has been viewed 4 times, and I can go and check those views as well. And again, the same people have viewed the notifications. Students can also follow, they can flag, they can use the @ to speak to specific people, they can tag and all of these things. So it works very similar to social media. One of the reasons is because ConnectYard does have a social media component where you can purchase to have it plugged into Facebook. We don't have that because as a rule, we don't really use Facebook in our teaching practice as much. So we only have the WhatsApp component, but we find that that works really well. You can reply directly from here just by clicking that little message. So I'm going to reply to Ore. And we can make it either urgent or silent. Now, if we leave it by default, it will go through the normal process. So if she has selected to receive on WhatsApp, she will get on WhatsApp. If she has selected to receive on email, she will receive on email. If I make it urgent, whether the student has opted to have notifications sent or not, it will go through. In other words, I'm basically overriding the student's preferences and sending the message directly. If it's something that's not urgent and I don't want them to get a notification, maybe I know my students are in an exam and it's just a message that I want, I can make it silent. And that means that it won't notify, they will see it the next time they come into the yard. I'm going to post my reply, and then we can see that that message has 2 replies. Now let's see if the replies are opening up. Okay, that's still happening. I'll speak to ConnectYard this afternoon and see what's going on. It's probably something, it was working perfectly just an hour ago. You know how it is. All right. I can see 2 people has followed that message, etc. So this is kind of what your yard will look like. Now, in the beginning, it's going to feel a little bit confusing because you'll have a lot going on. But just remember to make sure to keep track of where the messages are coming from. And once you've wrapped your head around that, this is actually a fantastic tool because it puts all of your communication in one single place, which really speeds up your workflow and your day-to-day. So this is probably the best thing about it. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the other things we can do. I am working on getting access for you as lecturers so that you can also have a look at some more reports, more detailed reports. But for the moment, we've got pretty good reports that you can draw, maybe for your archives or for your reports or just for your HODs. You just come to the yard in question, so your subject, and we click on view reports. And here we can put in a start and end date. So if I want to say it's by default, you know what? It's set to American time. I'll have a look at that as well, but just check that when you go in for the first time. So here you can see that it is 6th August, so it's American time. Don't know why Blackboard always defaults back to that. So it's the 13th of August where we don't have a 13th month, but we might have thought that this was the 8th of June. So remember to check that, your dates especially. I'll go and have a look if we can change that up. I think we did change it in the beginning. All right, so I'm going to say 6th of August is fine till the 13th, that's fine, but you can go and change these dates now to whatever you want. And I'm going to generate report. It's going to generate a report and download it to my system. Just wait for that to go. Okay, export it. And here you can see an Excel sheet of all the activity that has happened on your ConnectYard in this subject and, you know, in the dates that you have specified. So we can see 80% of my members are active. We can see some time things there, what channels. So I've got a couple who is linked with text message, 5 with email, text message meaning WhatsApp. I can see the total number of interactions in that time frame, and it's broken down to how many messages, how many replies, follows, views. So it's just a basic little report. Now, like I said, I am in the process of talking to them to get us a bit more detailed report system. So hopefully we'll get that soon. I'll update you as soon as I hear from them. We can view our users from this page as well. So I can see, this is the users that have not viewed posts in the selected time. So it's going to show you any members, and you can click on that member to see that this person has not viewed. So that's me. And that's just because I have one of my extra accounts on here as a student, and that student isn't very active, just to show you what that would look like. So if you want to see who is not viewing your posts, remember that under your users, you've got this 20% of viewers have not viewed. You can view the users. It will show you a whole list. I'm not sure why it's cutting off like that. Show you a list of all of the users. And then if you click on it, you'll have a little option to tell the student, hey, why aren't you? So you can send them a little message and send to them. So it's private, no one else is going to see this, and you're just basically asking the student to get on it. Okay, so that was here. When I go back to my yard under view reports. All right, so remember that. That's quite nice for you when you get to your, you can check some different stats here as well, dailies. I can see my dailies for the last 2 weeks and my hourlies for the last 2 weeks. Sorry, my hourlies are for the last 36 hours. Engagement score report. I'm not sure if this generates properly, but then I think you can choose a specific student and export a CSV report for a specific student in a time frame. So you can try that. We're going to go back. And yard report is just a report for what we have now is for everything. So we can toggle between the two. So either student view, so we can do a report for each student, or we can do a report for the whole yard. Okay, right. So I'm going to go back to my yard now and check some of those messages. And that is still running. Let's see if I can go back through here. Okay, now it's working through the normal way. That's good. All right, so what I wasn't able to do earlier, I wasn't able to click on the reply, which you should be able to do, but that's up and running again. So as you can check views, you can also check replies straight through here. That tab there is just for easy access to your replies. So if you click on that, it just shows you all of the replies to you. So in other words, not the whole thread, just the replies to you specifically. And that's why it's separate from messages. I rarely use it, and today it's not working, but normally I just check my replies via the message thread itself. And then you can see the whole thread, which is nice. And I can see the replies that have been on to certain things I like these replies. I can see where it's from. So the student replied from the portal. So if they replied from WhatsApp, for instance, straight from their phones, this would have said WhatsApp. Sorry, I keep doing that. Go back to my home page. Let's have a look at this reply. So here we can see I replied from the discussion. I just want to check that one to announcements, one reply. Seeing that one yet. All right. Okay. And we have an inbox here as well that you can check quickly, and it shows all the messages to you as a user. So in other words, separate from your yard. So anything that is connected to you, you'll see all of the notifications here. So here's that thing I sent to myself for being inactive. And I can see that in my inbox. And there's something that was sent to me, a grade notification. That is telling me that a grade has been modified in this subject, and I can see it's on this date, so I can go and check my grades in that subject, knowing that there has been some kind of change. Either grade has been inserted, edited, or whatever the case may be. So that is my inbox. All right, that is the basics of ConnectYard, and I want us to open up for questions now. Please feel free to unmute yourself and ask any questions, or we can play around with some scenarios if you want to test different things. You know, anything that you feel like might be helpful to you today. Otherwise, I will have the recording up on YouTube. So remember, on our YouTube channel, just get back there, I have a playlist called, where is it? eThuto Talks. And on this playlist, I upload all of the eThuto Talks we have. So I put the dates next to them and the titles, so you can go and check out all of them. So this recording will also be up sometime later today, so you can go and check it out if you have missed anything or just want to recap. All right, questions, go for it. Christu, your hand is up. Please go ahead. Christu is our ConnectYard guru. He actually found ConnectYard.
Leandre, I want to ask two things. If I want to search for a post on ConnectYard, is there a way that I can search for a specific post?
Yeah.
So for a specific message or something.
Yeah, so here at the top, you've got your search bar, and you can toggle it between posts and yards. So let's say, let's find something that's a bit more unique. Let's try and see if I search assignments. So I'm going to leave it on post, search the keyword assignments. Okay, nope. Not sure if I can log in now. No, okay. Any of the e-learning colleagues, do you know why it's directing me back to, instead of searching the posts like it's supposed to? It's supposed to search through here, but it's doing something strange. It's not even allowing me to click on the search. All right, Christu, I'm going to have to get back to you on this one. I did not realize that this wasn't working as it was initially. Normally you would just click there and it would take you to a digested version of all the posts with that keywords in. And I think that's what you're asking, and that is how it's supposed to work. So I'll get on ConnectYard today. I'll put it on my list and ask them to fix that up. All right, but this is how you do it. Yeah. So hopefully by the end of today, we'll be able to. Wynand?
Yeah, my search is working on the moment. What I did do is I didn't click on the glass, but I just click enter, and then it searched for me.
Okay, so it's me. It's not.
Yeah, I don't know if it's you, but mine is working on the moment.
Okay, so it is working. Apparently it's my account, but I'll still check it out. I'll let you know if there is something that is amiss, but it's probably just something I did. I'll go and have to figure out what that is. So if you want to search your post, this is the way you do it, Christy. You can go and try it out first.
Can I ask something else?
Yes, of course.
I found that if I post an announcement and in it there's a link or a file, it's not active in ConnectYard. When I had to post this separately from the ConnectYard platform. Is it something that I do wrong?
No, let's have a look. Okay, I'm going to do the link in both embedding and out. Let's see. And do you say files as well? Or is it just this link?
No. I usually like to post it there at the top, but then it's not active. You know, when I get it in ConnectYard is not working, I send it separately from ConnectYard again. So maybe it's something I do wrong. Because if you create a notice here, you can add anything, also add a file or whatever.
All right, I think the reason I'm having some trouble is my antivirus is doing something. That's probably why I wasn't able to connect. So if you do have issues, call me and then I can help you. Maybe it's an antivirus thing. All right, there we go. Follow this link.
Yours seems active.
Yeah. So maybe we should have a look at how you do yours, how you set them up. So it does work because I've tested this before. It works fine. And even on WhatsApp, I'm
Okay.
Pretty
No,
sure
then
I
it's fine.
followed
Then
links before.
I'll just check my.
Yeah. So let's get together sometime and we just have a look at how you post yours. Maybe there's something amiss. Right, colleagues, do we have any other questions, comments, anything that you'd like to know? Michelle, your hand is up. Please go ahead.
Sorry, Leandre, I first find my unmute button. Leandre, I'm new to ConnectYard, and I just want to ask you, once before, I received a WhatsApp on my ConnectYard WhatsApp with a request from a student, but I wasn't in front of my computer at that stage. So I want to know if you want to reply to the student from there. Do you reply in the WhatsApp message itself, or must I go onto Blackboard on my cell phone and reply from there?
No, you reply from your WhatsApp as you would normally, and it would just, let me just quickly do one now.
Thanks.
I reply to Oraniles. Just to show you. Okay, it's going to take a little bit, so we'll come back to it. But yeah, you just reply on the message and then we'll come back. So let me just check it was this one. And then you can see here's my reply that I just typed from my phone. So reply from WhatsApp, and you can see that it happened 0 minutes ago from WhatsApp. So a student just simply replies on WhatsApp, and same goes for you. So as you would do any other WhatsApp, you just type in your message and send, and it comes through to the
Thank
portal.
you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Leon.
Okay. Ellen, your hand's up. Please go ahead.
Thank you. I just wanted to ask is it possible that I can see whether the student registered WhatsApp or not? And secondly, if I want to communicate with certain students only, say for instance, there are 5 students who are writing SIG test, and I only want to do the communication with those 5. Is it possible that I can do that via the ConnectYard? Will I be able to have the trail of that communication? The reason I'm asking is because when I use the email from the eThuto site, you will find that I'm not able to have an email that will indicate that I have communicated with students.
Yes,
so I want, yes, that
so you want to
is
keep
important,
proof.
because some student later on will come and say, I did not get the message, or you did not send, or something like that. So if I use emails from eThuto, because it is easier when you select the student using the email here to send them. However, with email, you don't get that nice
Notification.
email. Yes. So I'm wondering whether if I use the ConnectYard, will I have that nice trail indicating that I did email student, or perhaps even repeated what I have said, so that the student comes later and claim that he did not get the emails. At least I have the proof that I have communicated with the student.
Okay. All right. Okay, guys, so what Ellen is asking is, I don't know, those of you who use email in Blackboard, in eThuto, will have noticed that when you send out an email to students from eThuto, you don't really have any evidence that that email has gone through, because the email in eThuto is limited and doesn't have a sent box. So in other words, you can't go to sent and say, look, here I've sent a message on July the 18th at 12 and to these recipients. And in that case, it's very limited for you as lecturers, because you need the proof that the email has in fact gone through. Which is why most of you, I think, when you send things like that, send it through your Outlooks. Now, what Ellen is asking is, this is different in ConnectYard. So how this works is, if you go to your specific yard and you click on these 5 members at the top. Okay. I just switched off my thing. You are, let me just go back out. Sorry, I've got a bit of a, I'm just going to refresh myself because I think Bitdefender has gotten angry at my ConnectYard usage today. I'll switch it off for the next time. All right, hopefully we're back now. Okay, so we go to our yard, click on that 5 members at the top, and then we can see our members and what channels they've opted to. So I can see that 4 of my members, my students, have opted for WhatsApp, but 1 has not. And this is that one that I also said earlier is not very active. It's just a student account that I put into, you know, play the bad student. So you can see who's now the email, as I said, is defaulted. So this will always be checked for everyone. But now we can see here exactly who. Now we can click on students and send them a message privately. Okay, like so from here. We can also check multiple students. So let's check students. And I think we're supposed to be able to message them. No, okay, we can only message privately 1 by 1. So it doesn't seem like we can do it for a bunch of students. Just go back and try again. Let's see if I can send, no, these are just mine. No, it seems like we can only do single students at a time, but I will go and look into this a bit more deeply. See here, we just search them. We don't actually check them. See, whenever I check a couple and I click on someone's name, it doesn't include everyone. It just includes that single person. So for now, you can just do them here privately. But yes, when you do post messages here, it stays here. So you can see here that old messages to this person is still here. So we still have that trail that you need, the trail for proof later on that the student has received it. So that stays there, but I just don't understand why you can't do multiples. I'll go and have a look and find out how to email multiple students and let you all know how that can be done. But at least it keeps the trail. So you can see the trail and you can see the date and you can see exactly when you notify that student.
From my computer, I'm not able to click on all those. I can see that there are 225 members, but I can't click on them. How do I access that? I'm not able to. Yes, it's not yellow as the same as you.
Okay, I'll go and have a look. That's probably just something we've set up. We just recently refreshed ConnectYard, so we still have to go and set up all of the settings. I'll make sure that it's done by the end of the day so that you are able to, let me just make a note here, members for users. All right, I'll fix that and let you know as soon as it's fixed so that you can also access there. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Okay, Christo, question again? Christo, is your hand up from earlier or do you have another question?
Sorry, where it is. My sound was off.
Okay.
I got some question on eThuto, but just on ConnectYard. I'm using ConnectYard for quite some time now, and the value of it was already proven to me because there were students that said that they did not know. For instance, we had said to them if they don't have Sage software, they must come to class. There is a tutor and they can work there. And when the test came, there were students replying that they didn't have the software and whatever, and they didn't know that there was class. And then I can go back, and that's why the search function, I had to go back through all the posts. But then I can show them, but listen, on this day, you read the message on WhatsApp and you read it again on your, and whatever. And then the whole game changed because now they know that I can follow up on everything. This is very nice. You got a whole trail of everything.
Yeah.
Another thing that's very nice, I see that if I post something within, I won't say 30 seconds, I can see almost all my students have read that message. So my communication via this is much better than before. So that's, yeah. I think there's things that can be nicer, but but at least that is the trail. You don't need to have a separate WhatsApp group. But also the nice thing is you don't need to change their cell phone numbers. If they change cell phone numbers, they can go and change it themselves on eThuto. I think what's important is in your learning guide, at the beginning of somewhere at the beginning of your learning guide, you must clearly indicate to them that they must enroll on ConnectYard. So then, you know, from there on, it's just it's easy. It's very, very nice. Can I ask something else, Leandri?
Yes.
Previously, when I do my presentations and stuff, you know, item or whatever on Blackboard, I could just cut and paste a picture onto my item. But now I must save it as a file and then bring it in. If I want to paste it, it just say this is not allowed.
Yeah. I'm not sure about previously. I don't think we were ever
Last year. Last year I could have pasted pictures. But I think now, if I do that, it just gives you a message, this is not allowed.
Okay, so what has happened in the time is we've moved on to a new content editor box. Now, some of the new items on the content editor box is fantastic, and others like, you know, pasting images is something that we miss. But the reason we're moving on from this is because we are slowly migrating to Blackboard Ultra, which is the super cool new Blackboard. And this is kind of like one stepping stone in that direction. Now, one of the things that a lot of us miss is if I had an image, and just go to my desktop here.
But it says it's just not allowed. It's not a setting from your side that say.
No, this is the new editor box. It's the way it works. So we can only cut and paste from. So local image paste has been disabled. It's not something we can change. It's just something that is, but we can. So for instance, this is why. It's because more things are happening in cloud space now. So I'm just going to search images on Google. Show you why it's changing into this kind of direction. So I'm going to open this image in a new tab, copy that link. That is a terrible link. I'm going to use something else. That's going to take ages to process. Try something a bit more.
You see what I'm doing? I always save these pictures as a file and then I just bring it in as a file.
Yeah, but what you can do is just take them directly out of. So I copy the URL instead of copying the picture and then do it this way. So I just click Control V on my computer now. So remember, paste Control V, V for Victor.
Okay, so I paste the link, but the picture.
So that is what is happening. Is we are, because the system is moving over more to cloud-based. So most people keep their images in cloud storage or use images from online. So it's still able to paste from web images, or if you store your images in any cloud space, you can paste from there. But unfortunately, pasting from the computer is not. So if you want to paste or insert an image from the computer itself, you need to go to Insert, Local, and then let's find an image. It's not going to
Can I just ask, if you paste that link, I can also resize that picture? Eh?
Yes, of course. No, it's got all of the same capabilities. So there's my linked image. So the image that I got in here from, I just click on it to get my little square and then resize it. Or I can right click it and resize it a bit more specifically. Okay. Same as you would with your images brought in from computer.
But if I, for instance, create the image myself, then I must first save it as a file and bring it in.
Yeah,
because what I'm doing,
add content.
Yeah, what I'm doing is, for instance, I create images on Sage, and then I usually, previously, I could have just brought it in, you see. But now I must first save it as a file and bring it in.
Yeah, yeah, that is unfortunately one of the drawbacks. But I do feel that the new content editor has amazing, for instance, YouTube videos also pastes in. And I mean, that used to be a couple of steps before you were able to do this. So I'm just copying that URL, pasting it, and it immediately embeds the video from YouTube. Okay, it's not doing it immediately today because it hates me.
Okay, can I ask you something?
There we go. It just took a minute, but there we go. Yeah, go ahead.
Just a practical arrangement. I was bothering you on a few times last week because I got some crises on when it was exam time. I'm not sure if we need assistance on you know, like a crisis on eThuto. Who must we contact? You, Johan, or Wynand?
Well, it depends on any of them. Are you talking about a crisis from the lecturer's perspective? So you having a crisis? Yes, you can contact any of us. So
Okay,
there are three learning designers. Orenile, she covers Welkom campus. So for you as a Bloemfontein lecturer, you contact either Wynand or myself.
Because
we don't have the faculties split up. We just handle as they come in.
Okay, then, but what I'm asking is, I understand Wynand's position of last week. I just want to know, because I was trying to contact you via what's this, Teams, and your cell phone number. I believe it's the same number. My question is, can I contact you on your cell phone number?
Yeah.
Am I allowed?
I saw your phone call, but it happened on Friday and it was in a training session, so I didn't answer.
Okay.
And I thought you'd probably phone back, and I forgot to kind of follow up. So I have to tell you honestly, we get a lot of phone calls, and yes, we accept phone calls on our cell phones. I accept calls on Teams, but when I'm in training like I am now, I switch off my Teams, I mute my phone, and I don't answer any calls. I don't have time always to get back to everyone. I do try when I can, or sometimes I'll send you a quick WhatsApp message and say I'm available now, or whatever the case may be, but I don't always. So please just follow up again. So just in half an hour, just phone me again. It won't happen very often that I can't pick up twice in a row, and I am with my phone all the time. It just happens that we also have other stuff. Like today, if somebody phones me now, I think I have about 7 missed calls at the moment, so I'm not going to get back to all of them at the end of this. I'm just going to hope they call again.
And
So,
sorry,
yeah.
I was just for me it was just about clarity. I'm not blaming somebody.
No. We normally
don't
good
want
at
to
picking up our cell phones, but like I said, it's just not always possible.
my only reason, I don't want to intrude
No.
into somebody if I'm not okay. So I can now, that's fine with me. I think
Okay.
I don't have any more questions.
All right, thank you. I see Ritu, you have a question. Your hand is raised.
Thank you, Leandri. Yes, I do agree. You do answer your phone call. And then when I did not get hold of you, I just send you a message. And sometimes I do have an answer that when should I call you? Thanks for that. But my question to you is, because you brought the eThuto matter here by using the how to insert image, I just would like to know, is there a way that I can set the default font to be like 10 or 12 something? And number two, the color of the ink is not black, it's a grayish kind. Why? Is it my computer or is it everybody experience? Because that gray for some, if you forgot to make it black, all the, say, in multiple choice or in a question, some information, people start thinking, am I paying special attention? But that gray is visibility wise is not a user-friendly one. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ritu. Yes, I agree. That's something that annoys me, and it's annoyed me about Blackboard forever. It's the fact that I can't say, me as a user want to use Arial 12 and whatever color it may be, and then use that and always have it as that. So unfortunately, there's no way of doing that right now, but maybe we can go and have a look at if we can on an institutional level decide on maybe another color, a font size and so on, and then we can maybe standardize it. Now about that gray that you have, let me just go back. I'm just going to open a new one, so I default it. When we first got the new content editor, I noticed the gray, but I also noticed that when you post it, so this is the gray. Why is it? Okay, now it's black. Let me just check. I notice it always in tests, but I have noticed that those colors normally come out black, even if it's gray in the end of it. Okay, so just going to test.
I just want to alert you, Leandri, that happens with the test, like you said, when you are putting any question, you can try now. a new test question.
what I'm
And
gonna
when
try
you
now and
start
see.
typing, it will be a gray color, not a black.
For some reason, mine is doing black now, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
It comes as a gray.
Yeah,
Because
it's normally
I have
gray
tried
here.
Many people.
All right, I'm going to go back to my team and maybe we can have a look. I don't know if Dr. Barnos is still in the room.
Yes, I agree. Even if you copy something from Word and then you come and paste it here, you will see that it will change to the gray color.
Yes.
I noticed that, and then that means you will have to highlight the other colors. If I'm on Word and I copy with other colors, they will come as red, but the black one will turn gray.
Yes.
Yes.
I know exactly what you guys are talking about. I spoke to a lecturer about this last week, and now for some reason mine is pasting black. Typical. I'm just trying different pastes. No, that's not working. No, but I do know what you're talking about. Dr. Barnos, is this something we can look at on the settings, maybe deciding on a default type, font, color, and
Leandre, I haven't came upon any place where we can set that defaults. We will have to go and have a look, but I don't know about a place where we can do that, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I don't think this is something we can do, but let me go to Blackboard and ask, maybe there is something, or maybe it's something they can work into their development process, because it is something that is annoying. I've seen when lecturers, especially with multiple choice tests, when they paste in their answers from a Word document, for instance, then they forget one and then it looks different from the others. And like Ritu is saying, that it might look like you are paying special attention to this option and that is the correct answer. So I'll look into it. It's not something we can do at the moment, but hopefully soon. Just make sure that you paste in, when you paste in from other documents and it's black, just make sure to just make it black again for now, but hopefully it's something we can sort out soon. All right, I don't seem to have any questions in the chats. Is there anyone else that would like to ask a question? Yeah, I've got 3 hands up, but I think those are old hands.
No, Leandri, mine is a new one.
Okay, go for it, Christy.
I thought I got the last question, but I don't. Is when I post these pictures, the way we do, it takes really long. It's not click and it goes there. You click and you wait and you wait and you wait. Is it my connection that's slow, or is it because sometimes I need to paste 4 or 5. Yesterday, for instance, I pasted one, in an item I paste 5 screenshots for explanation, and it takes quite long. But even bigger problem is once I create a PowerPoint presentation, and when I upload it on eThuto, when I say upload and when I go and make coffee, sometimes it takes 5 or 10 minutes. Is that?
Okay, so the difference between embedding and uploading is, for instance, when I had this image here and I copied the link, and you'll see that's instantaneous. That is because I'm merely linking to another site online. So I'm not actually uploading the content. Whereas when I upload, so in other words, I insert that other image from my computer, there is a bit of a delay. Now, this is dependent on your connection. So you see mine uploaded pretty quick, but it's not really a very large image, so it should have. Now, this is the thing with uploading. When internet service provider sells you packages, they normally sell packages that are heavier on the download speed and slower on the upload speed. So you'll often see these packages where they say, okay, it's 10 megabits per second download, which is nice and quick, but only 2. So I would recommend going and have a look at your speed, specifically your upload speed. Easiest way to do that is just to go to Google, say speed test, and you can just run the first one here. And then it's first going to check your download speed. And then when it's finished with that, just give it a second, it's going to test my upload speed. So I would go and have a look at your internet package. A lot of the times they put the upload speed kind of in a, sort of a small font, and you don't realize that you're getting a very slow upload speed. So go and have a look at that. And if it's very slow, maybe that is your issue. If you have a decent, like 30 23 that I have right now is very fast, so that's fine. You can, if it's not that and your speeds are actually very fast, then we should have a look at your computer maybe, or your browser might just need a cache clear or something like that. That might be an easy fix, but mostly it's the package.
You see, mine is 5.
Yeah, 5 is not very fast, so it's going to take a while.
I know, but you see, I must pay for it myself. So
yeah, no, of course, I understand.
But I think mine previously, like I said, I always, but you know, last year I also did it, and it seemed. But okay, I got a new computer from CUT this year. I don't know if something's different, but it seems to me that nowadays it's slower, and I don't know if there's something that's changed, but it's slower, much slower than before.
Do you find it slower in browsers only, or if it's slower all around the whole computer?
No, only when I my other stuff is quite fine, but it's only when I upload.
Maybe go and clear the cache of your browser. Quickest way to do it in Chrome is the shortcut is Control-Shift-Delete. And it will open up this and just go and clear some of this cache. So you can see I've got 300 megs cached up here.
Okay.
And just go and clear that and your history. Sometimes that helps a lot.
Sorry,
if you have
I say Control-Alt-Delete, and then what does it say?
Control plus Shift. So I'm gonna.
Sorry, Control. Sorry, Control. Sorry.
Plus Shift plus.
I must Control plus. But I only got, you got many things. Okay, Control-Shift-Delete.
Yep.
Okay. Oops, let me try again. Okay, perhaps I must get, okay, where it is. Okay.
Christo, can I ask you, are you using the VPN of CUT or not?
No, I use my own because I was struggling so much with that VPN stuff. That
no, because the VPN makes it much slower. That's why I'm asking.
Okay, but my cache is 247 meg. So I must now say clear data.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just make sure that it's checked. Sometimes that helps. While Christy's doing that, just a quick, is anyone if anyone is you know, happy with their ConnectYard training, you're welcome to leave. I'm going to stop the recording now so it doesn't get too large. Do we have any